Hello, brother teacher again. You've heard me probably in videos in time past say that when you eat vegetables or anything else in the can for that matter that's supposed to be for human consumption or food, to always remember this principle: fresh, frozen, and canned. Okay, that's the order in which you should have priority on your purchase. Fresh first, and if you can't find fresh, you go to the second one, which is frozen. And then if for some reason you can't buy frozen, you buy the can. The reason the can is the last one is because the can is where the trouble is. Number one, you have food packaged in a metal can over a period of time, just depends on how it's warehoused and the temperature. Ingredients that are already placed in the can, such as sodium for preserving what's in the can in terms of the food, and the metal can itself, the components of the metal can, especially if it's a steel can or a aluminum can, it can begin to dissolve out into the food inside the can. Would you see this with the naked eye? No, you won't, but it's there. So remember that the reason we don't want to do the canned food first is because it contains preservatives to keep the food longer, plus it's packaged in a metal can. And due to the fact a lot of times in warehousing, you know, they might be in a very high temperature controlled warehouse and packed on trucks even in the summertime, when it's really hot, and then that metal begins to leak or begins to bleed into that food, and we don't see what's in the food, but we are ingesting it. I will give you this tidbit also: if you do use canned food, canned green beans, let's say for example, open the can up, pour the existing juice or water out of the can, and pour some purified or some filtered water from your tap if you have filtered water, and you really should, and rinse it out in that. That way you alleviate some of that preservatives and a lot of that extra sodium that's in that food. You're going to get a lot of it because it's been soaked in it. So please bear that in mind. Now let's back up a little bit to the frozen. The frozen is good because the frozen is fresh that is packaged. Understand that. Now, let's back up even to the very first one that I mentioned, and that is the fresh. It comes right out of the garden. Oftentimes in today's practices, to preserve food before it goes to market, in farming, they still put pesticides, they still put harmful chemicals on our produce. So what you must bear in mind and what you should wrap your brain around is that once you purchase your produce from the grocery store, you come home, you can get a solution of apple cider vinegar and warm water, and you can get your a scrub brush, and you can find these brushes in any dollar store or any Kroger's or even in a drugstore. You can find these almost anywhere, Walmart, you name it. You get your little brush, and if peradventure you have a problem with the brush, get a old toothbrush or just buy a toothbrush specifically for that purpose, and you brush the outer skin, the outer layer of that particular vegetable. If it's a cucumber, do that. If it's carrots, please scrub that sediment that's sitting on the outside off. If it's lettuce, do the same thing. And with your collard greens, you might want to soak it in the apple cider vinegar and the water for a period of time, let's say an hour to 2 hours, and put your hands on it and begin to rub, and then rinse it off again in that filtered water or that purified water, and then rinse it maybe a second time, because also understand this: when it's coming from the garden, that you're going to have parasites on those vegetables. Whether you can see them or not, they are still there. Understand that. Okay, that was my tidbit today for you as far as how you should eat your produce or your vegetables from the garden first, number one, frozen second, and number three, it should be in the can. All right, this was Brother Teacher. I will see you in the next video. So long.